Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. It's a little late. It's a little dark. I realize you can barely see me, but actually that's an improvement if you've ever seen me in real life. I do have this big bushy beard going. I look like a homeless Santa. Hey, I got to get it chopped. I got to get it trimmed. I'll be going to do that sometime. I get real lazy with those things. But thank you once again for joining me. I'm going to make a video sometime in the future telling people how to get you your first 1,000 subscribers from a man who has less than 60. But I'm going to do that anyway. And one of the things is to be nice to your audience. There's too many people out there. They don't even they don't read their comments. They don't heart anything. They don't respond ever to people when they leave a comment. I think that's kind of rude. Now, I can understand if you have like 6 million subs and you're getting like 300,000 comments or whatever the shit. I can understand maybe you don't have the time, but until then, be a little nice. That's why I like to tell everybody at the beginning of my videos, thank you. If you're on the YouTubes, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. And here's my first tip for getting to 1,000 subscribers. Tell people to subscribe. A lot of people leave that out. They just think it's going to be automatic. But no, people have to be told. Some people treat the subscribe button like it's leprosy. They're very picky. They're like, I don't know. Do I really want to subscribe to this channel? It seems like a lot of work, but it's not. You simply click that little red button that says subscribe. It'll turn white and say subscribed. That's it. You can always undo it later. No harm, no foul. So thank you if you are one of those people who do that. And if you're listening over on Spotify or the Anchor.fm, thank you. Because for some reason you're listening to my words, you're listening to what I have to say. Maybe you're doing it to laugh at me. Maybe you're doing it to laugh with me. Maybe you're doing it because you have a class to show people how not to do a podcast. That's all right. Whatever the reason is, I want to thank you as well. The internet here is kind of spotty. If this is your first time or you don't know, I live in Cambodia. The internet here can be a little slow. I mean, it goes down faster than Malaysian airliners, It can be a little iffy to upload sometimes. You got to walk around, try to find an open Wi-Fi network, standing outside of a building looking like a creep, watching your phone slowly upload a video sometimes. But that's all right. We get it done. I've said before, and I'll say it again. One of the things I love about Cambodia is that it's very gay friendly. I have no problem with that. But I do have an issue with your representation. Because when you're talking about that community, anything other than the straight community, there's so many letters you have to remember in the right order. You have to say LGBTQ XYZ, LIPDER. I'm not sure what all the letters are. They keep adding at the end. And listen, man, there's only 26 letters in the alphabet. I think you guys are taking up too many of them. Like every time a new gender or a new thing is coming out, that's fine. Be who you are. Be happy. I have no issue with it. But you're taking away the letters for everybody else. That's the only problem I have. And the thing is, if you say it wrong, if you say the letters out of the proper order, you get some flack for it. People are saying, you don't remember it because you don't care, because you're not really a friend of our community or something like that. And that's not true. I just have dyslexia. I can't remember all those letters all in a row. And hopefully I said that last one right. I mean, you got to understand, I'm a WSMWD. That's right. a white, straight male with dyslexia. See, it's not so easy now, is it? That's right. If I wouldn't have mentioned that, you would not have known what I was talking about. So all I'm saying is take it easy on the letters. There's only 26. We need some for all the other groups. But other than that, be happy. Live your life. I was watching a podcast the other day. I believe it was 42 minutes long. And I love this podcast. Those guys are great. I think they're very funny. So I'm not going to mention them because I don't want people to think I'm talking shit, because I'm not. But the whole subject of that podcast was where to draw the line in comedy. Where do you draw the line on jokes? Like, are there subjects? Are there premises? Are there things you shouldn't broach? Subjects you shouldn't talk about or try to make fun of? And I don't think it needs 42 minutes. I think the answer is simply no. There are no subjects. There's nothing that you should not be able to joke about when it comes to comedy. I don't think anything is ever off limits at all. Doesn't matter what it is. Listen, we use comedy to relieve the pain of all these things that are happening, all the terrible, horrible things that happen in this life. We try to take it, turn it around, make a joke on that thing, and take away some of the fear for a minute or two while people are laughing. It does take time. It does take working out a routine, adding certain words, taking out certain words to make it flow, to make it not sound like you're making fun of specific people, you know. But, you know, a premise itself, a subject itself, should never be off limits. It doesn't matter what the subject is or what it's about. I've said this before, I'll say it again. There's a big difference between a racist joke and a joke about race. One is funny, one is offensive to a particular group of people, and it's not even about stereotypes, it's just about hatred. But just because you're offended by a joke doesn't mean the joke's not funny, and it doesn't mean you're correct. We need to be less offended by things just because we hear a certain word and it might trigger something in us, and all of a sudden we want to cancel this person, we want to get rid of that. People go on talk shows and say, this is never funny, nobody should ever joke about it. I call bullshit, because everything can be funny if it's done in the correct context and in the correct way. And I remember when I was in the military, I was sent to Germany on my first duty station right after basic training. And then you go through what's called AIT, Advanced Individual Training, which is kind of a weird name because 2/3 of that isn't true. It's not really that advanced. It's not individual training because you're still with a whole group of people, but it is training. So, hey, 1 out of 3 can't be beat. But after that, they just kind of put you around in a circle and say, okay, here's where you're going, here's where you're going, here's where you're going. I wound up going to Germany, Göppingen, Germany, to be exact. And that's where I really learned the value of comedy, because I met a man named Sergeant Adams. Sergeant Adams was one of my best friends in the military. I'm brand new. I'm an E1 private. I don't know shit. And the very first day, he lined up like 4 or 5 of us brand new people. And he's an E5. He's a black guy. He's an E5. And he's a little bit shorter than me. But he was always smiling, always, no matter what the task was, no matter how horrible, he was always smiling, always joking, always laughing. And he came out, the first time I met him, he came out in front of all of us, lined up there and said, "Gentlemen, today we are going to clean the latrines. It's going to be a good time." With this big smile on his face, and I thought, and I'm sure everybody else did, and, you know, they were thinking, oh, great, yeah, we're the bottom of the totem pole here. We got to go clean the shitters. We got to go clean up all the shit, all the piss, all the jizz that everybody else left behind when they were doing their thing, all the hair because everybody's shaving, and that's a horrible job. But it had to be up to standards. But I eventually got to know him, and when we would be doing our normal duties, not in training exercises or anything, but just our regular everyday duties, we got to know one another. We got a feel for one another, and pretty soon it was fantastic, because me and him would just riff back and forth. We would just tell jokes after joke after joke after joke, and the rest of the people would just be surrounding us, laughing their asses off. And I guess that's where I first got bit by the comedy bug. But here's the thing: all the jokes we told were not like stand-up routines. They were jokey jokes, but they were the most offensive, obscene jokes anybody has ever heard. I mean, the kind of jokes where I could not tell them right now. I will probably never repeat one. I put that on Twitter. I put that on Instagram. I'm getting deleted. I'm getting canceled immediately. People are going to be doxing me. They're going to be sending me death threats. Because we would go out of our way to offend each other. And yet neither of us ever got offended. We would tell some of the most horrible jokes about every race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation ever. And I'm not talking like with any subtlety. It was just offensive. Like I said, you cannot get away with that now, which is why I'm glad I had that experience back then. Oh, but it was a great time. We would just go back and forth. Like I said, there would be people surrounding us in a little circle. They would just be laughing at us because we're obviously both trying, and we were very animated. And the punchlines, we would just stare at each other, waiting for somebody to break or get offended, and nobody ever did. Oh, it was a pretty good deal. But we could only get away with that in that little group, if you know what I mean. Like, we could not go off base and go into a bar in town and start telling those jokes, because we would just get our asses kicked. We couldn't say that with anybody from another platoon or another company, because they don't know us. They don't know what we're doing, because we would, again, get our asses kicked. But it was a great time, and it really taught me that even the most offensive jokes that are meant to be offensive, that are actually created to offend a certain group of people, can still be funny under the exact right circumstances. Like I said, I would never repeat any of them now. I don't believe any of them. It's not my point of view. It's not what I was trying to express. It was just a way, back and forth, me and this black E5 sergeant to an E1 private, just realizing that we had that in common. And so I've always sought out people like that, if you will, that don't get easily offended, that can just be like, what the hell, he's just joking. Of course, now you got to be more careful. You got to tread a little water, kind of got to be like Jesus walking on the water, hoping you don't drown, once the magic trick is done. But and that's basically what jokes are, man. They're like magic tricks. It's like you're expecting one thing, all of a sudden something else happens, or is being said that you didn't expect, and you're like, whoa, and that's where the laughter comes from. But yeah, my take, and I want to hear your opinion. Leave me a comment down below. My opinion is no subject matter is off limits, right? Like, I tell a joke often. I'm like, back when I lived in Michigan, very cold in Michigan, very icy in the winter. And I used to tell this joke. I used to say, oh man, I slipped and fell on some black ice the other day. At first I thought it was regular ice, but when I got up, my wallet was missing. Now, to some people, if they didn't take it in a joking manner, as a stereotype joke, they might get offended. But I'm like, I've told that joke for years. Nobody ever got mad, no matter who I was talking to, what group I was with. Because it's not a joke. It's not a racist joke. It's a joke about race and making fun of people who actually believe the stereotypes that, all these kind of people, all they do is steal everything. And people understand that. So I just want to encourage you not to get offended by anything. Let's try to step it back a little bit, save our anger for the truly racist, horrible things people say, like in Congress. All the stupid shit they say there is just blowing my mind anymore, and I'll be talking more about that in my next podcast. I just wanted to get this out of the way. And also never say you can't trust anybody, because that's absolutely not true. Every time you walk outside of your house, you're trusting somebody. You know, you get on an airplane, you're trusting the pilot. You know, I get on an airplane, I'm thinking, God, I hope I don't have a heart attack, otherwise I could die on the plane. But then even with that worry in my mind, I'm thinking, God, I hope the pilot don't have a heart attack, and everybody dies on the plane. But I have to trust him that that's not going to happen. If I'm driving along, walking along, I have to trust that the guy's not drunk, looking at his phone, going to hit me and kill me, leaving my body for the vultures on the streets, for the rats to eat. So yeah, all these people who talk about, I don't trust anybody, you can't trust anybody, you do that every time you leave the house, so just stop trying to be the badass, all right? We have to trust people all the time, otherwise you would never leave your place. You just have to. It just depends on how you look at it. Now maybe the guy driving down the street, I wouldn't trust lending $20 to, but I'm going to trust that he's paying attention and not texting, so he doesn't send my body flying 50 feet in somebody's yard. All right? All right, that's going to do it for this one. Again, if you're watching on the YouTube, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Down below are different links. If you want to send me some money, it's through PayPal. I'll send you a copy of my book, a big book of weird top 10 lists written by me. I looked everything up. You got links inside that book to, you can go down your own rabbit holes with some of these facts and things that are really cool, really neat, things you might not know. I'll send that to you for free for a donation to my PayPal. Also down below are links to my, or links to a live show app. Really great app. Download it. It's absolutely free. Listen to comedy. Participate yourself if you want, although you don't have to. You have nothing to lose. It's not a big download, won't take up much space, and the people there are very funny. Also down below is links to my Twitter. If you want to send me a tweet, send me a twat, send me a twit. I will be sure to return the favor. Also down below, if you want to be a guest on the show, like I said, I live in Cambodia. If you live in the United States, it's 11, 12-hour difference, but we can make it happen. We can do a Zoom thing. We can do a Google thing. We can do some kind of meeting place thing. And you can be a guest on the podcast. We'll talk. We'll bullshit. We'll have fun. We'll make people laugh. There's an email address down below. Just email me and say, hey, I'm willing. I want to do it. I'll get back to you, and we'll work out all the details. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.